A data share agreement is exactly what it says in the words. It's an agreement between two parties about how we share data that belongs to the university. The two parties are the Information Steward and the Information Consumer. And it's important to have that agreement so each party knows what they're getting, what they can expect, and what their obligations are. As the Information Steward for a certain area of data in the university, I'm accountable or responsible for that data and the use of it. The data sharing agreement has really facilitated bringing that information to me complete so I can make an assessment and then either agree to the agreement or to ask for further information. I think there's two really core benefits to the data sharing agreements. The first has to be from the user's perspective. We have an obligation as an organisation, as the university, to look after people's data. So for me, that's probably the most important part of this. About the user feeling comfortable that the university has taken some responsibility about its data and using it in an appropriate and ethical way. But secondly, from the university's perspective, we have to consider the compliance. We are obligated by law to do certain things, and it's important that we do those and that we can ensure that we have a good process around that and we are compliant. The university has obligations by law about the use of its data, but to be honest, the really important thing is how we use that data ethically. That is what our data producers, our users, our community is going to expect. If we're compliant, that's fine, but if we use the data unethically, or how they see is what the consumers believe is unethical, then we're really not in a good place. So that is a very important part that data strategy and governance team have brought out into this process. The data strategy and governance team are fantastic. It's brought a new capability to the university, one that's been missing for a long time, a holistic strategic approach to the use of data. They have facilitated some great practical outcomes, things like the data sharing agreement, but also they've got the whole holistic picture of how we use data, and they've enabled the use of data. And I think enabled is a key word here. This governance is quite often thought about as being something that stops things happening. Data strategy and governance team have been about making things happen, and that is a fantastic benefit to the university. Many of the other teams in data and identity services have been about delivering data, and that has been extremely important. It's facilitated the integration of different products, and the identity team have really taught a lot of it's about identity, about knowing who you are within the university, in the university community. But the one thing that was always missing was about how should we be doing things? How should we use that data? Is it appropriate? Is it ethical? The data strategy and governance team have really brought that to the whole of the use of data. So they've enabled the other teams. They've enabled them by removing some of that burden on the team to work out should this be happening, and allowed them to facilitate what their core role was in delivering data or delivering identity.